So this is going to be quite a short video looking at the sort of circumstances and the agreement that was reached at the renewal of the first triumvirate in a place called Lucca. So these events are in 56 BC, so let me just type that in for you. And this is obviously coming after Clodus's time as tribune in 58, Cicero's recall from exile in 57. So at this time, as it points out, Caesar was growing great and famous as a result of his wars in Gaul, so he's in his command post his consulship, etc. And the triumvirate starts to sort of break apart a little bit, and the relation between the three is obviously an issue. This is partly because, according to Plutarch, Caesar was secretly undermining Pompey's position by sort of making himself more famous. And obviously Pompey was a great military leader, great military commander. He's not been out fighting anywhere since the 60s, late 60s, sorry. And Caesar is becoming really famous and becoming really well known. According to this, just a really good quote, he was making his army into something which he controlled as though it was for his own bodies. He was a great military leader too. And he was sending back to Rome quantities of gold, silver, spoils of battle, and all other wealth. By bribery and by helping with the expense of aediles, praetors, consuls, and their wives, he was building up a great party of his own. So he was becoming really, really popular at the expense of Pompey. And obviously he's been making Pompey a little bit jealous. Pompey's also obviously has helped with the recall of Cicero. And Cicero was seen as a little bit of an enemy of Caesar. It's kind of complicated, this period. So there's a slight tension between them as well. And also Pompey and Crassus don't like each other and they've never liked each other. So there's that tension too. Now, Caesar does not want to come back to Rome. And this is because of his actions during his consulship. So remember, when he passed the Lex Campania, so when he put it to the vote to be passed, he wasn't allowed to. It was illegal because of the actions of Bibulus and seeing the lightning, etc., the omens from the gods. Now, as this time was picking on, remember, he had the provinces in Gaul, etc., for 5 years. So he goes out in 59 BC, and we're at 56 BC. So time is ticking along a little bit, and there are some calls for having Caesar be prosecuted when he returns to Rome. So he can't be prosecuted while he has the army because he has Imperium and he's protected by his office. So Caesar basically wants to stay out of Rome. He doesn't want to be prosecuted for what he did while he was consul. So the best way to do this is to ensure that he gets given the provinces again for another extension of his time. Now, he's not going to be able to get that through the Senate. He's trying to use wealth to do it, as mentioned in here, but it would be easier if he could have, I don't know, his friends in high position to ensure that he gets what he needs. So he crosses the Alps and spends the winter at a place called Lucca, and huge crowds of all sorts of people, men and women, came to see him, including, and this is really important, 200 members of the Senate and Pompey and Crassus. So these guys are then all sent away after an agreement. Caesar full of hopes and loaded with money. So there's a massive load of bribery that goes on at this particular point. And an agreement or renewal of the triumvirate is made. So Crassus and Pompey and himself have this following agreement. So Pompey and Crassus are going to stand for the consulship again. So this will be their second consulship. Caesar's to help them by sending a large number of his soldiers home to vote for them, so basically using corruption. And as soon as they are elected, they were to arrange for provinces and armies to be allotted to themselves, and to confirm seizing the command of the provinces you already had for another 5 years. But this is the whole point of the renewal of the triumvirate, is to keep Caesar out of Rome, make sure he's safe from prosecution. And then obviously Pompey and Crassus will get the provinces that they want. So by these methods, Pompey and Crassus make their way to the consulship. I don't know, just looking back, a bit weird. Sorry, I just realised something really strange. I'm going to delete that, a bit weird. Sorry, I suddenly noticed it. And they start to use some corrupting methods to ensure they get the people they want in positions they want. So the people voting for the election of Cato to praetorship, Pompey alleged that some inauspicious omens, and other seed omens, have been seen and dissolved the assembly. They then bribe the voters and make sure that they get Vatinius praetor instead of Cato. So obviously they're ensuring that one of their supporters, in fact I will highlight that while we're at it, is elected instead of him. I'll put in that colour, whatever. They then bring forward laws. According to the agreement they reached, gave Caesar an additional 5 years command in the provinces. Notice it's done through a tribune. That's quite important, so that's a good job it's in a different colour. So Pompey gets Africa and Spain, and it doesn't say it here, but Crassus gets Syria, or Parthia as it's known at this particular point. So at the end of their time in office, Crassus goes to his province, fine as you'd expect. Pompey decides to stay behind. Now he still has control of the Spains, because two of them, even though there's only one Spain, but you know what I mean. There's two provinces in Spain. But he has special imperium that allows him to stay in the city and to run his provinces from Rome. And he stays behind, opens a theatre, and he puts on some really nice shows, it's lovely, and some athletic sports, etc., and some animal fights, in order to make himself really famous and really popular with the people in Rome. And that's it, really, for the renewal of the triumvirate. This bit is really important in terms of what they've agreed. You've also got senatorial support for the triumvirate. First time they agreed anything, it was kind of in secret. It's now far more out in the open. And obviously, the key aim, really, is to make sure that Caesar stays out of Rome and safe from prosecution.